Hello, we're Chris and Nathan of According to Whim. I'm Chris McGinty,
I'm Nathan Stout.
and we are doing a segment that is called Chris Convinces Nathan.
Oh man.
So, now you can put the camera on me, and you can just listen to what I have to say. Wait, I have to look at myself the whole time.
Yeah, so please control your impulse to stare at yourself the entire time.
Hey Chris, what's up? Okay, so how this segment will work is that I will talk for a few minutes and try to convince you of something.
Okay.
Okay, so this will be kind of a little bit meta in this particular Chris Convinces Nathan. Otherwise, it'll be just various topics, anything. Some of it can be deeply political and bullshit kind of crap, and some of it can just be fun crap, you know. But I will try to convince you of something, and then at the end you will either be convinced but with reservations, or not convinced, and you will tell me and you can explain why.
Okay.
Okay, so today's convincing
Is this like a weekly segment or something?
it's the hope, yeah.
Okay.
I could come up with different stuff. So today's convincing, actually, the reason why I say it's meta is because it's what we were talking about, which has to do with us starting to do more creative stuff again.
Okay.
Hey Chris, what's up? So I've been trying to think, because there's this guy and his name's Gary Vaynerchuk. You ever heard of him?
No.
Okay. He's probably like the guy that probably you and Miguel will just hate on principle, because he is the guy who has basically proved that I'm right about everything I ever said back in the 90s and early 2000s. Everything. The important part is that while I haven't been able to prove it because I don't have millions, he did.
Okay.
He's worth like 40 million or some shit like that. So anyway.
That's the new American middle class.
Yeah. But he's kind of, you don't need stuff. You just need to follow a process, and you need to work, your time, after you're off work and all that kind of stuff. There's family time, yes, but you should be able to find time to work on your business or whatever you're doing. So here's the thing, is what he often talks about, and this is what I want to talk about today, is he's basically convinced that social media is the way to go. He built his business, or rather his dad's business. He was getting paid $30,000 a year to build his dad's business, and he took it from being a $3 million business to like a $30 million business, doing a public access style show on YouTube called Wine Library, right? And so he's convinced that the way for anybody to build a business is to, first of all, be patient. Okay, I was just making sure you weren't like, I'm not convinced, sorry. But first of all, be patient, and then second of all, he says basically content, right? The thing that occurred to me about that is that he's talking to people who are trying to, build businesses, like, oh, I want to sell shoes, like I've designed a shoe, or I'm a lawyer and I want to get clients and stuff like that, right?
Right.
And, he's saying make content, so, and the content's meant to be giving to the community without asking anything, so forth and so on. And the thing that I thought about was, it's our entire thing is content. Like, it's just we don't need to build content so that we can later sell something. Our entire thing is content anyway.
Right.
So I started trying to think of, we used to do the daily blog, and, we've done a lot of the different stuff over the years, but what we've never done is what he says is the second part, having to do with the patience, which is, he's like, if you post content every day for 7 years, you'll start to get a foothold on things.
Wow.
Now, we've done that, except it wasn't 7 years in a row.
Right.
It's been,
15 years.
Yeah, and it's not been every day.
It's been 18 years.
15
years.
It's been every day, every so often.
Right.
So I was thinking, how would we manage to do that? And the first thought that I had was, we've done vlogs before, where you just set up the camera and I talk, kind of like this, but, this is kind of more in a segment form. But what we could do is we could do more mini blogs, like as in, I could come with like topics that are, like just really simple things to talk about. We do little mini blogs.
Like what is this?
And why was it in your pocket?
And how did it save my child's life? Oh, there we go. That's good stuff.
Coming soon to a YouTube near you. So my thought was, if we were to get together once a week, maybe up to twice a week, thing one is that we could do numerous little mini blogs that if we don't have material to put up, you have like sort of a backlog of mini vlogs. The second thing would be to do like a episode of the audio show, but to do a 2-camera shot, do the 12-minute segments of the audio show, and put them up, one day at a time or whatever.
An audio show, but then you said use 2 cameras. What do you mean?
Just do
audio or video?
A video version of the audio show.
Oh, okay.
But so that way we also put the audio show up on the website, blah, blah, blah. So then the next thing that I thought about was, of course, sketches. Sketches we actually want to do. We could have this segment, where I try to convince you of something every week, And the whole thing would be about just getting material ahead of time so that every day you could just upload something.
Right.
The next thing is that I can get together with Brian every so often and do some stuff for... He's kind of part of the whole thing from back with Sniffles, but I could do that. Me and Brian could do some stuff. I could just bring you the video when I do that.
Video editing.
Well, you don't necessarily have to do too much editing.
Not convinced.
And then finally would be just the daily blog. And we could just handle that, kind of the same way we used to, where, we don't necessarily have to do it where you do it every day or every other day or whatever, but we could figure out a way that if you have something to post, so that I know not to post, and just do a daily blog. And so there would be all those different things. You have a Twitter for According to Whim. I have a Twitter for According to Whim. I've already changed mine to where it says Chris McGinty of According to Whim. So you can change yours as well, because I don't know why we had to, but we had to. And so that's kind of my thought process, is just we find a way of doing all of the content once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending. All the content all at once, take maybe an hour or so to do it, get a good backlog before we get started, and then just post. That way we're posting daily.
So I considered that idea of a backlog, and I was wondering, oh, hi, Nathan, how you doing? What time is it? It's 10:23. Oh, my gosh, I don't even know what that means. I should have been in bed like 3 hours ago. No, I considered, I was thinking about like how far in the past could you create like generic or time neutral vlogs,
Right.
and basically have like be posting now from what you shot a year ago, and have it to where people weren't any clued in that it wasn't actually an old blog. That way you're like a year ahead because you're just putting out your vlogs or whatever.
Yeah, as long as our hair doesn't go significantly gray, I'm sure we could handle it.
Anyway, so I've always thought that was a good idea. We tried to do that where we got ahead blog-wise.
Yeah, we can discuss that a little bit later, but I think I know why we got screwed up on that. But
It was a little tough. But we did it. We did it, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did a whole year. 365 of those things.
So, the question, Nathan, are you convinced? Convinced with reservations or not convinced?
Well, it depends on what you're requiring action-wise. Like, if I say I'm convinced, you'll be like, you're doing it tomorrow, you're quitting your job, and we're starting this now. I'll be like,
that'll be the next Chris convinces
okay.
Nathan.
Okay. I am all for it, because we haven't done anything creative for, how old is Corinne? 3 years now?
Yeah. I blame that on child support, but that's okay. Not my children, but on my child support.
Okay. So
my children are blameless in this.
I don't have reservations because I would love to. You've convinced me.
Chris convinces Nathan never to get a divorce, so he doesn't have to pay child support for the rest of his life.
Correct. I'm just like way over here. Okay.
So, I'm Chris.
I'm Nathan.
And this has been Chris Convinces Nathan.
And he convinced me.
Wow, it was a success.
This was easy, but he'll throw some at me that are just stupid. So enjoy your victory.
Nathan, I think you should listen to Sheryl Crow. Not convinced.
All right, so long.